Good evening, and welcome to another incoherent episode of Diatribes from the voice of doom. Now here's your insouciant and innocuous host, voice of doom. Probably never heard this song before, I'm sure. And the reason you never heard it is because I wrote it. And it's one of my songs. And I kind of like it. And if you listen to the whole thing on my playlist, you will hear my originals. And I can write a good song. But I wanted to do a rather inebriated version of Diatribes, where I'm sure I won't be able to make much sense. But I wanted to call it What If. And it's just been stuff that's been crossing over my mind. I had a bad weekend. People at the restaurant were horrible. And the whole situation's horrible for many reasons, and I won't get into it because it's generational, and it's generational. I'm looking at old people that want the world, and I'm looking at young people who don't want to give it to them, but they want to get paid. I won't go into that. What if? It just occurred to me while I was watching Petri Dish give the worst speech in the history of American politics, that what if the goppers actually won, which I don't think they're going to do, because the D's are too good at cheating. They're very good at it. They will not only cheat, but they will complain when anybody complains about the cheating and say you're a racist. It's happening all the time. But what if the goppers won in a big way like they say they're going to do? It's going to be a red wave. It's going to be a wipeout. It always happens. Every election, all through history, the president loses the majority in the midterms, because he's been doing such a crappy job. And every president's done a crappy job since I can remember. And don't talk about Reagan and all that crap. I lived through that. In retrospect, yeah, okay. It worked out good, but they squandered it. They squandered it because Reagan put the pressure on, and Gorbachev, Mikhail, who just died, who is going to be hailed as one of the greatest people in history, at least the 20th century, will be honored as the person who ended the Cold War. The real truth of the matter is Reagan, even if he looked like a doddering fool to me because I was a liberal anarchist idiot, and I didn't like Reagan because I was a teenager or whatever, early 20s. I was a liberal. I was an anarchist. I didn't want any part of this warmongering old doddering fool that was a B-movie actor. But the fact of the matter is he got good people, and he pressured the Soviet Union. He said, we're going to keep on pushing and pushing with Star Wars, which never happened. It was all a bluff. You guys don't understand history. He bluffed them. He said, we're going to just put all our efforts into having a thing that will knock down all your weapons, and you will be nothing. And meanwhile, Gorbachev is looking at the Soviet Union. They're starting to run out of food. Their resources are running dry because they can't keep up with America in the MIL or MIC, military industrial See, that was the whole thing, military industrial. They spent billions and trillions of dollars on weaponry, and suddenly the Soviets can't keep up. And you see what happened. Brandenburg, the gate. They said you can go back and forth between East and West Germany, and they tore down the wall like 2 minutes later. Broke it down with hammers. The whole Eastern Bloc that was under the aegis of the Soviet Union fell apart and became independent again. And everything was great. Then the Soviet Union falls apart. Only Gorbachev. And Gorbachev had nothing to do with it. He was a victim. He wanted to keep the country together, but he couldn't do it under there. So let's get into Petri dish. I don't want to, Gorbachev and Reagan both had their places in history, whether good or bad. But I think that their synergy was good because it got rid of the frickin' Soviet bloc. You guys don't know history because you're too busy worrying about your pronouns. Now, talk about what if. So that's my main thesis. Now, they're talking about the election and how it's going to be a watershed moment. So the goppers take the House and they take the Senate, and they got 54 people in the Senate, and they got a majority of the House of Representatives. Now, I've seen in the past that they squander that opportunity to the extreme degree, and everybody knows why, because they're all corrupt. And they may not be as corrupt. There's some more corrupt than others. There's the Pelosi's, and there's the Schumers that have been in politics so long that they have nested their egg very nicely. And they could all be put in prison for a lifetime for what they've done, but nobody wants to look into what they've done. Why? They don't want to look into what they've done because everybody will be exposed. The government will be exposed. It will be, everyone will see that it was all a sham. We've been lied to for 50, 60, 70 years. And people won't like that, but they won't do a damn thing about it. But things have to change after that, of course. Come on. When you start putting Clinton and Pelosi and Schumer and Clinton and Hunter and Petri dish and that wife of his and his brother and Schiff and Nadler and the whole squad, they've already made lots of money from their small time in office. Now you learn real quick, these libs. These lefties learn real quick, yeah. You get elected to office and suddenly things start coming your way. And we're going to put up with it until we are decimated. But what if the goppers decided to play hardball when they got into office, and it's just Petri dish and his entourage and his henchmen alone against the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate and the Supreme Court, just for good measure. We won't need the Supreme Court. Now, what if the goppers got a spine, goppers got some balls? They won't. But what if they did? Now, Petri dish, like, when do they get put in office? January 20th? I would say by midnight, impeach him. He's already done high crimes and misdemeanors, so many that you can't count them all. And I'm just going to say impeach him for whatever they can dig up. Talking to some guy on the phone, or having some form in his office that he shouldn't have. Something small. It doesn't matter, because then you get into the Hunter. The laptop that was that they said was some sort of a product of some Soviet Russian spy. Some guy with a cap on, Scottish guy, blind, computer repairman. Guy brings in his laptop and leaves it there and forgets it's there. Come on. There's something about that that's kind of weird. I mean, I don't care how stoned I am. I've done a lot of drugs, and if I have a laptop and I take it in to be repaired, I'm going to realize that there's a lot of stuff on that thing that could be of national interest. So that whole thing is weird. But just take the laptop and then you can start analyzing that, and then you can impeach him for 10 or 20 different things. Impeach him, get Faustus, get Schiff, get Nadler, get all of them on the stand to talk about what the hell they've been doing, and get Millie and those bunch of hawk-nosed whatever gay people that probably do weird things in their spare time. And nothing against gays, but I know these guys are weird. You can get them on the stand and find out what the fuck they were thinking and get rid of them all. You get prosecutors from their various districts to arrest them and have them charged with whatever charge they might have, which is murder, manslaughter, total incompetence. There's billions of laws you can charge them with. The Clinton gang, arrest them. I mean, come on. What do you mean, 20, 30 years before you realize how corrupt they are? They've broken every law in the book, including the big ones, like having people removed. Come on. And people are going to just ignore all this. But what if the goppers actually got the balls and spine to expose the whole government for the fraud that it is? It'd be a great day in history. It would be really wonderful. People will actually see, yeah, we've been duped. So that is my fantasy, is that the goppers win. I already told you, get rid of the political parties. I've already made it very clear that we're not getting anywhere with coalescing into little tribes, and there's two big tribes, and then the rest of the tribes are kind of like not even important. So it doesn't work. You got D's and goppers, and they dump trillions of dollars into elections. Is that the way to run a country? I think running a country means solving problems. You got a problem, deal with it. You don't have a problem, don't deal with it. When we got this government tied in with politics, that's going to be the death of us all. And I'm the only one that's going to say it. And I'm really sick of watching Fox and all these other places saying what I've already said. It really is irritating. Because I got my stuff on, like, within 3 or 4 hours of Petri dish spewing out that crap that I heard. And yet I hear it the next morning because they've been getting their beauty sleep and they don't want to put it on like primitive shit like mine. And then I hear the same thing I've already said. And I get paid nothing from what I'm saying. So it better happen soon, because I'm getting kind of sick of this. I mean, it doesn't really matter. If I make any money, the world will blow up anyway. So it doesn't really matter if I'm a success or not, does it? I'll just get my word out, and you'll find out that I'm right. I'm pretty drunk, and that's why this was a good one. I think you'll really enjoy this. Thanks, everybody. It's over.